Today I want to talk to you about the positive effects of enforcing school uniforms within public schools. Now I know that this is a huge debate between teachers, students, parents, administration on whether this is a positive thing or a negative thing. However, lately statistics are proving that enforcing school uniforms is actually a positive thing. Proponents for school uniforms will tell you that school uniforms make schools safer for students, create a level playing field that reduces socioeconomic disparities, and encourages children to focus on their studies rather than their clothes. So today I want to give you 7 points on why enforcing school uniforms is a positive thing. Now these points have come from a website. The website is schooluniforms.procon.org. So if you want to go check these out for yourself, it lists a lot of good statistics to go along with them, and you can access that after this speech if you would like. So I want to go ahead and jump into my first point, and that is that school uniforms may lower crime rate and increase student safety. In Long Beach, California, after 2 years of a district-wide K-8 mandatory uniform policy, reports of assault and battery in the district school decreased by 34%, assault with a deadly weapon dropped by 50%, fighting incidents went down by 51%, sex offenses were cut by 74%, robbery dropped by 65%, possession of weapons or weapon lookalikes decreased by 52%, possession of drugs went down by 69%, and vandalism was lowered by 18%. Now with those statistics, you can see that student crime has drastically dropped since enforcing school uniforms. Now not only that, but crime in schools caused by outsiders will also drop, and that's because when you have every student and all staff members dressed alike, it will be a lot easier to identify an outsider or an intruder within the school. So we'll see crime rates all over the place lower when school uniforms are enforced. Now my second point is that school uniforms keep students focused on their education, not their clothes. A bulletin published by the National Association of Secondary School Principals stated that when all students are wearing the same outfit, they are less concerned about how they look and how they fit in with their peers. Thus, they can concentrate on their schoolwork. Now, I know for me, when I was in school, I would walk into a classroom, I would sit down, and I would watch all my friends come in, other classmates come in, and I would evaluate what they're wearing because I wanted to make sure that I was living up to the fashion standard that had been set and make sure that I fit in with everyone. And so I know that with other students, it's the same thing. They want to make sure that they are fitting in with the rest of the class. Now, if every student was wearing the same thing, they wouldn't have that distraction. They wouldn't have to analyze everyone as they walked in, but they could just immediately focus and jump in to lecture for that day. So we would eliminate that distraction within the classroom. Number 3 is that school uniforms create a level playing field among students, reducing peer pressure and bullying. So we can all agree that bullying is a huge issue within our schools today. So if we could just eliminate one area of where bullies are able to come in and bully another student, I think that's a positive thing. And so by enforcing school dress codes and having everyone wear the same thing, bullies no longer have the option of picking on someone else because they might dress a little different than everyone else, or their clothes aren't as up to date with today's fashion standards as everyone else is. And so we'll see bullying in that area decrease, which I think is a huge positive thing within our schools. Number 4 is that school uniforms may improve attendance and discipline. A 2010 study by researchers at the University of Houston found that the average absent rate for girls in middle school and high school decreased by 7% after the introduction of uniforms. So ladies, I think that we can all agree that sometimes in the mornings when we get ready, we will try on 10 different outfits until we finally find one that looks good, that's comfortable, that we want to wear for the rest of the day. And so by enforcing school uniforms, that eliminates that choice in the morning. You know, girls are going to wake up and they're going to have one thing to wear. And so that's going to make it a lot easier to have a routine in the mornings. And it's going to eliminate the possibility of being late because they didn't have to try on 100 different things before they found something that they wanted to wear to school for the day. And so we'll see attendance levels increase, and we'll see tardies, especially in the morning, drop because of that. And my next point is that school uniforms prevent the display of gang colors. Now, I know that some of you in here would say that that's not a big issue in every school. You would be right to some degree. I think every school has a little bit of gang affiliation within it. Public schools being has some gang affiliation within them. Now, of course, in areas such as California, New York, Florida, we're going to see this be a bigger issue. But by eliminating students' ability to wear their gang colors, we're going to see gang violence drop because they're no longer identified by their gang because they're not able to visually portray what gang they're in. And not only that, we'll see a decrease in the amount of students that are initiated into a gang because gang members aren't able to present themselves as a gang and therefore draw other people in. For example, if an Army recruiter was going to recruit someone and he wasn't in his uniform, he's going to have a less success rate than if he went in uniform to recruit someone. So same thing with gangs. They're going to have a harder time initiating someone else in when they're not able to display who they are. Another point is that school uniforms can save parents money. So a recent survey said that uniforms per child, school uniforms per child, is calculated to be $150 or less. So the average parent can agree that $150 for the whole school year is a lot less than what they usually spend on their child's clothing. So not only is this a huge financial burden lifted off of parents, but also in a way a peer pressure lifted off of parents. I think that most of us can agree that parents want their child to feel confident in themselves, and they want them to fit in with their friends at school. And so they kind of have that pressure on themselves to buy their kids name brand clothing so that their student would go to school and feel like they fit in. And so this eliminates this concern for the parent as well. Now, another point, and my final point, is that students can express their individuality in school uniforms by introducing variation and adding accessories. So I know that one debate when enforcing school uniforms is that the student won't be able to express who they are. This just simply is not true. Enforcing school uniforms does cause the student to look like everyone else. However, they can dress it up with accessories. They can fix their hair different ways. They can wear scarves even to express their individuality. We're not taking away from their personality. We're just asking them to wear a certain thing just for 8 hours a day. And I don't think that that's too much to ask. Think of when the student gets older and they go to apply for a job and they say, yes, you have the job, but we're going to require you to wear this. The student isn't going to be able to say, well, I want the job, but I'm not wearing your uniform. So I think it's teaching responsibility also in that sense. And so like I said, it's 8 hours a day that we're asking them to wear one thing that they can accessorize with. They can make it their own. And then when they leave school, they're free to wear whatever clothing they choose. And so I don't think that it's taking away from their individuality. They're still able to express who they are through their personality. And so I hope that these points have been helpful to you, and I hope that you have enjoyed this. So thank you for watching.